morning, my dear students. Our chapter number 8 is going on, which is magnetism and magnetic properties of substances. Okay, in this chapter, yesterday we discussed about the classifications of magnetic substances. Okay, today in this topic, our third point is third type of magnetic materials, which is ferromagnetic substances. Ferromagnetic substances. What is ferromagnetic material? Those substance which when placed in a magnetic field are strongly magnetized in the direction of magnetizing field are called ferromagnetic materials. Or we can say those materials which are displaced from weak weak intensity to strong intensity of magnetic field with strong force. Okay, such type of materials is called ferromagnetic materials. Okay, we can say such materials are strongly attracted through magnetic field. These are called ferromagnetic materials. Okay, and the property of this is known as ferromagnetism. This property is ferromagnetism. Okay, for example, iron, nickel, cobalt, and Fe3O4. These type of these materials are known as ferromagnetic materials. Okay, now explanation of a ferromagnetism. Explanation of a ferromagnetism. Okay, in the ferromagnetic substances have n-pair electrons exist in high number. So in this material, each ferromagnetic material, in ferromagnetic material, each atom behaves as a atomic magnet and possesses stable magnetic moment. Okay, and in ferromagnetic materials, due to exchange interaction and unpaired electrons, these unpaired electrons in one atom intersect strongly with the unpaired electrons in the neighboring atom in such a way that they spontaneously align themselves in a common direction over a small volume, and this small volume have uniform magnetization. This small volume is called domain. Okay, this is called domain. This is very important definition, domain. Okay, we can say ferromagnetic substance में unpaired electron जो हैं वो एक स्मॉल वॉल्यूम में प्रभावी क्षेत्र बना लेते हैं. ठीक है, ये एक एरिया, इफेक्टिव एरिया के रूप में, एक ग्रुप के रूप में यहाँ पे शामिल हो जाते हैं. उस ग्रुप को, उस इफेक्टिव एरिया को ही अपन क्या कहेंगे, डोमेन. ओके, दिस इफेक्टिव वॉल्यूम इज कॉल्ड डोमेन. In each domain, every direction of every direction of every magnetic atom is same direction, but for different domains, have same directions of the magnetic moment. So resultant magnetic moment of a ferromagnetic substances is equals to 0. But if we place ferromagnetic material in external field, then in this situation, if the external field is weak, then in this situation, domains which are favorably oriented to the external field get increased. Suppose this is a ferromagnetic material, and in this, these are the domains. Here, 4 domains exist, and in these domains, atoms like this, atoms present like this in different directions. This is in the absence of external magnetic field. But if we apply a weak magnetic field around this domain, around this ferromagnetic substance, then in this situation, here two conditions present. First is, if external magnetic field is weak, then in this situation, suppose the direction of external magnetic field is the direction, then domain which are favorably oriented to the external field, here this is the domain which is favorably oriented to the external magnetic field, then this get increased in this size like this. Means the size of this domain will be increased and other domain will be decreased like this. In this situation, a unstable magnetic moment will be produced. Okay, so here magnetic moment will be produced, and this is not equals to 0. And second condition, if we apply strong magnetic field, on this substance, then in this situation, all domains align the external magnetic field. This is external magnetic field, and these are the domains which are aligned to external magnetic field like this. And in this situation, a stable magnetic moment will be produced. Okay, and we can say this ferromagnetic materials is magnetized, and in this situation, a very strongly magnetic moment will be produced. Okay, now properties of a ferromagnetic materials. Properties of ferromagnetic materials is same to the properties of a paramagnetic materials, but large in magnitude, means high in a magnitude. It means for ferromagnetic materials the properties are very strong. Okay, this is the classifications of materials. Now we learn a very important topic, which is Curie law. Curie law and Curie temperature. What is Curie law? According to Curie, for paramagnetic substances, magnetic susceptibility is inversely proportional to absolute temperature. It means chi m is inversely proportional to T. If we remove proportional sign, then chi m is equals to C upon T. This is the Curie law, and here C is Curie constant. Curie constant. Okay, but for ferromagnetic materials, Curie and Weiss gives a law. Curie law. According to this law, magnetic susceptibility of ferromagnetic materials chi m is equals to C upon T minus Tc. Okay, here T is absolute temperature and Tc is Curie temperature. Curie temperature. So our next topic is Curie temperature. What is Curie temperature? A temperature at which ferromagnetic substances are converted into the paramagnetic substances is called Curie temperature. It means a temperature at which ferromagnetic materials is converted into paramagnetic materials. This temperature is called Curie temperature. Okay, for example, for iron Tc, this is denoted by Tc 1043 Kelvin. Okay, for cobalt Tc 1394 Kelvin, and for nickel Tc 631 Kelvin, and gadolinium Curie temperature is 317 Kelvin. Okay, this is Curie temperature. Our next important topic is, this is very important for short question and long question, magnetic hysteresis curve. Magnetic hysteresis curve. What is hysteresis curve? A curve cyclic graph between magnetizing field means H and a magnetic induction B, or we can say I. Okay, for ferromagnetic substances is called hysteresis curve. Again repeat, a cycle graph between magnetic induction B and a magnetizing field H for ferromagnetic substances is called hysteresis curve, and this graph is also called BH curve. BH curve. Okay. Now we plot the hysteresis curve. For this curve, suppose we have a solenoid. Okay, and in this solenoid, the current is flowing small I. So for the solenoid, we plot graph between B and H. At x-axis we take H, and a y-axis we take B or I. Okay, this is origin point O. At initial condition, in this solenoid, magnetizing field is 0. Then in this situation, B is also 0. Then this point, now we increase in magnetizing field. Then in this situation, magnetic induction will be increased in such a way, like this. And one point, if magnetic field at this point, and after this point, if we increase in H, there is no more increment in intensity of magnetization, it means B, and this state is known as magnetic saturation. Means this state we found. Now this point, suppose this is A. Now we decrease in H. Now if we magnetizing field is decreased slowly, this magnetizing field is decreased slowly, then in this situation intensity of magnetization decreases, but not along the path OA. Okay, this is take another path like this. At H0, B is not equals to 0. It means here some magnetization is present in this ferromagnetic material. Okay, this point suppose is B. For zero magnetization, now we increase in negative direction. This magnetizing field H increase in negative direction. Then in this situation, we get this type of graph, and this point C. Okay, Now we increase magnetizing field in negative direction, then intensity of magnetization is also increases in negative direction. And after this point D, again there is no more increment in intensity of magnetization, then again this state is known as magnetic saturation. Now again, if we decrease in H, then in this situation intensity of magnetization also decreases in such a way. Okay, and now in a H increase in a positive direction, then we get the graph in this way. Okay, this graph O to A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to this point E, and this is F, and again we reach at point A. This graph is called BH curve and magnetic hysteresis curve. This is very important for a small question, so carefully learn this graph. Okay, here we get 2 points. One is retentivity and another one is corrosivity. So first is retentivity. What is retentivity? In this graph you can easily see that at this point B, here magnetizing field is 0, but intensity of magnetic field is not 0. Okay, so the value of intensity of magnetization, this OB, which retain in the material when the magnetizing field is reduced to 0, and this value is called retentivity. Okay, here in this graph retentivity of this material by the denote by the OB. Second is corrosivity. In this graph, this value OC is the corrosivity. Here, the negative value of this H at this intensity of magnetization will be 0. It means the value of reverse magnetizing field required so as to reduce intensity of magnetization to 0 is called corrosivity, okay, of the material, and it is represented by in this graph is OC, and this definition is very important, so carefully learn it. Okay students, now we learn hysteresis loss. Hysteresis loss. Okay, the area of this area of hysteresis graph is equal to hysteresis loss. Okay students, here a loss of magnetic energy in ferromagnetic substance is directly proportional to the area of a hysteresis curve of that substances. Okay, this is equal to hysteresis loss. Area of hysteresis loss loop is equal to the work done per unit volume, or we can say energy absorbed per unit volume in taking the magnetic specimen over a complete cycle of magnetization. Okay, so here energy loss, this is very important formula for numericals. Energy loss per second, which is equal to volume of a specimen into area of BH curve, and into frequency. Okay, so energy loss per unit second is equals to Q, and volume V, area is A, and frequency is N. This is very important for energy loss per a second. Okay students, now we draw hysteresis curve for a soft iron, and this becomes like this. This graph for a soft iron and this graph for steel. From these graphs, we can easily see that the retentivity of soft iron is greater than to retentivity of a steel, and the corrosivity of a steel is greater than to corrosivity of a soft iron. Okay, so important conditions required for stable magnet, which is first is, so for permanent or stable magnet, material should have some properties. First is it should possess high value of retentivity. Okay. Second is it should possess high value of correctivity. Sorry, first condition is it should possess a low value of retentivity, and second is it should possess high value of corrosivity. And in this graph, we easily see that the low value of retentivity is for steel and high value of corrosivity is for steel. So the best substance, the best material for permanent magnet is steel. And another one is El Nico, which is made by three metals, which is aluminum, nickel, and cobalt. Okay, this is a material for permanent magnet, and this permanent magnet is used in telephone, voltmeter, ammeter, galvanometer, and a loudspeaker. Okay, students, this is your eighth chapter, and eighth chapter has been finished. Okay, in next class we start a new chapter. Okay, so this chapter is very important for our 3 marks question, and this graph is very important. This is for soft iron and this is for steel. Okay, student, and if you like this video, then like it, and if you have any doubts, then comment in comment box. Thank you.